Welcome back. Welcome back, dear students. This is the second session of Tar Arrives, written by Devanuru Mahadeva. In this class, we will analyze the story and the characterization. We shall have sessions recapture. These are the learning objectives, session outcomes, and introduction to Tar Arrives. A story set in a remote village about road construction. The core conflict of this story is development versus women well being and safety. Key themes are power politics, corruption, and caste inequality. Narrative tone is powerful, poignant, it highlights societal issues. Economic development turning into a mockery. Village. It is a very remote village, not known for anything specific. It is connected by a dirt track 3 miles from the main road. The houses are close together, appears to choke each other. They estimated to have at most 80 households. It lacks even a small hotel, indicating its isolation. Village characters. Characters, four young characters, Lakuma, Rajappa, Madhu, and Shambhu can be seen. These people have studied up to high school. Patel's dislike. Patel dislikes these four young men because they disregard upper lower caste distinctions, associating with the untouchable Lakuma. Power dynamics and corruption can be seen in the story. Patel's authority. The village Patel holds important power. He views the educated youth as a challenge to his authority. The Patel's disapproval stems partly from the youth's disregard for caste. Villagers hope to publicly flog the youth for perceived misbehavior. A clear struggle between traditional power and emerging independence can be seen. A road is finally ordered. The order for a road project arrives from the above officials. Patel's reaction. His body puffed up even more with pride and influence. Patel feels that because of me, the road has been sanctioned. Village also budge. News spreads like wildfire through the community. Patel's fast effort yielded the fruit. He had pleaded for a road years ago during a minister's visit. Symbol of progress. The road is initially seen as a sign of development in the village. The Patel as contractor. Dual role. Patel is announced as the road contractor. Employment promise. Villagers are told they will have work for months. Temple renovation. Patel plans with excess governmental money is earmarked for the village temple. Misuse of funds. This plan immediately raises concerns about corruption. Village excitement. Despite political issues, every house is agog with the news. Transformation of the village. Landscape change. The village becomes a regular battlefield. Banana tree. Once prominent, they are all cut down, leaving a desert like appearance. Loss of identity. No trace left of the once hidden dense banyan grove. Visual contrast. From nature's beauty to a barren construction site. Impact on environment. A stark example of development's destructive side. The machine arrives. Large machines with man-high stone wheels running around, belching smoke, creating a clamor. Both kids and adults watch fascinated. Noise and smoke dominate the village atmosphere. The mission represents the new powerful force at play. The workers' daily life. 10 to 15 young women crush gravel, saris tied around heads. Songs they sing, come, come soon, Chenna Basavaya, creating a chorus. Festive air. Despite hard work, the whole place has a festive air. Workers are deeply focused on their task. A sense of community emerges amidst the labor. Measuring, digging, leveling, sprinkling water, bringing gravel and tar in burrows, filling and spreading. Variety of machines, backwards and forwards machines, dug leveler, fire spitting machine, a machine that mixes gravel, sand and tar. For everything a machine, highlighting the industrial scale. Kids are constantly drawn to the tar, gathering around it. The construction site is a dangerous place for children. Adults scold them, but kids return when backs are turned. Children spend evening where tar is melted, staying late. Tar smears on kids and then on elders who fetch them. A woman plugged a leak in pot with the tar and it worked. Tar became a magical solution for leaking pots across the village. Borrowing practice. Household with the tar stock became sources for others. Tar transforms from a construction material to a household utility. The tar presence integrates into daily village life in unexpected way. Letter to the editor. A newspaper brought by the big machine driver. A letter to the editor regarding the road construction. Accusations. Details of Patel plan to misuse government funds for temple renovation. Praise for authorities to prevent the misuse of public funds. The newspaper article causes fear and ferment. He calls a village council meeting via drummer. Every household must send one person. Night falls, darkness envelops the village, dim lights from the houses. The plot grew thicker and thicker as evening approaches. The village hall, dimly lit by a smoky lantern, seated in a center, sweating, forehead wrinkling, tries to maintain order, prompts the Patel to speak. Shanbhog. Youth defense. Rajappa Madhu speak up, challenging the Patel's action. Argument escalate, noise grows louder, some men stand up. He clenches his fist and rises like a shot. Lantern incident. His head is hit to the lantern, breaking the glass. Darkness, the flame flickers and dies, plunging the hall into darkness. Immediately, chaos as everyone struggles to escape. The village falls silent, house close their door shut. A man from neighboring Hosur passed through. He recounts a tale of a seductress publicly flogged. The seductress went to police, standing leading to landlord's arrest. The news blends with the local brewing tensions, rising ferments. He reacts with a grim, indicating his understanding of the power of the law. The tar drums are gone from their usual spot. Trial led out. Their trial leads outside the village. Tar is found pouring in thick lumps into a large pit. Villagers' reaction. They gather to watch in silence, eyes filled with blackness. Even the Patel says nothing, clenching his teeth, then goes to the police. Rangapa's child goes missing. The plot continues to darken as night falls. Rangapa's kid has not come home since lunch. Parents search every house, ask playmates. He saw the dumb kid walk homeward. His mother's cry is the only sound, wailing throughout the night. At dawn, the police van arrives for investigation. Rangapa's kid is found in a tar pit, covered in tar, nearly lifeless. The tar grasped him by his feet, and drum clasped his hands. Lingering life, a faint life still throbbing is observed. The core questions: what truly constitutes progress, infrastructure, or human treatment of people? So, before going through the characters, Tar Arrives is a poignant story set in a remote South Indian village that explores the conflict between progress and human values through its vivid depiction of road construction in a rural setting. The story critiques how development projects, when driven by greed and power, can disrupt the social fabric and endanger the lives of the vulnerable. The narrative begins with the arrival of a government sanctioned road construction plan led by a village headman, Patel, who also became the contractor. While the villagers initially celebrate this as a sign of prosperity, it soon becomes clear that the project serves the interest of a powerful rather than the people. The Patel, a symbol of caste and political authority, misuses the government funds, planning to renovate the village temple instead of focusing on the road. A group of four educated young men, Lakma, Rajappa, Madhu, and Shambhu, questions this corruption. Their progressive ideas and friendship across caste boundaries are seen as a threat to the traditional village order. The elders resent their activism and accuse them of dishonoring village customs. A letter sent by the youths to a newspaper criticizing the misuse of public funds sparks outrage, leading to a tense village melting meeting that ends in chaos and violence. At the heart of the story lies a powerful metaphor: the use of tar in the road construction. While tar is a sign of modernity, it becomes a dangerous presence in the village. Children are repeatedly seen playing near the hot tar. Despite warnings, the story reaches its emotional peak when Rajappa's child, who had gone missing, is found nearly lifeless in the tar. With his hands and face covered in a thick black substance, this tragic image becomes the symbol of how thoughtless development can silence innocence and destroy lives. The story also highlights deep rooted caste discrimination as seen in the hostile treatment of Lakuma, an untouchable. Despite his education and integrity, he and his friends are marginalized and threatened. The traditional power structure represented by the Patel and the village leaders resist any challenge to their authority, especially when it comes from the lower castes and educated poor. Their response is violent, rooted in fear of losing control. The narrative is told in a straightforward yet emotional charged style. The tone shifts from light satire to grim realism, capturing both absurdity of bureaucratic development and the human cost in it entails. Through its stark, haunting imagery, the story questions the true meaning of progress. Is it the laying of road or the upliftment of human lives? Is development truly valuable if it disregards justice, safety, and dignity. So, Tar Arrives is more than a village tale. It is a sharp commentary on society where infrastructure projects are often executed without ethical concerns. The story warns us against the celebrating progress without considering who benefits and who suffers. With its rich symbolism, social critique, and emotional depth, it remains a powerful literary work that urges leaders to reflect deeply on relationship between development, justice, and humanity. The character of Patel. The Patel emerges as a central and complex figure in the story, embodying the nexus of power, caste privilege, and corruption. As the self appointed contractor for the road construction project, he is a symbol of how local leaders manipulate public resources for personal or caste based gains. His pride and arrogance are evident from the beginning, especially in how he carries himself after securing contract and boasting about the development. Yet his authority is deeply insecure. He fears the educated youth, especially those who question his misdeeds. His violent outburst at the village meeting reveals not just anger but the crumbling facade of his power when challenged. Ironically, when tragedy strikes and the missing child is found in the tar pit, the Patel is left speechless, a symbol of how hollow and destructive unchecked authority can become. The characterization of youth. Lakuma, Rajappa, Madhu, and Shambhu. These four young men represent the spirit of change and resistance in the village. Educated and socially aware, they question the traditional hierarchies of caste and power. Their friendship with Lakuma, an untouchable, and their refusal to adhere to caste norms makes them target of slander and suspicion. However, their act of writing letter to the newspaper about the misuse of funds is courageous and idealistic. They are not just critics of corrupt system, but symbols of hope and progress. Yet their dissent is met with hostility and threats, showing how entrenched powers react violently to even peaceful resistance. Their role in story highlights the dangers faced by those who attempt to challenge systematic injustice in a rural settings. Character of Rangapa's child. The unnamed child of Rangappa becomes a tragic symbol in the story. His natural curiosity draws him to the road construction site. Like many children in the village, despite scolding, he turns again and again. Fascinated by the machines and chaos, his eventual fall into the tar pit represents the devastating human cost of unplanned exploitative development by showing the child's hands stuck to the drum and his mouth sealed with tar. The writer delivers a haunting metaphor, the silence of the vulnerable, even in his near death state. The boy's presence delivers the story's most emotional blow, forcing both the characters and readers to reflect on what progress truly means. And the character of Shanbog and other villagers. The Shanbog, the village accountant, plays the role of the mediator and enforcer of traditional order. He attempts to manage the escalating tension during the village meeting, but is clearly aligned with the Patel. His silence in the face of corruption and his refusal to support the youth's demands show how local institutions often serve the interest of the powerful. The other villagers, meanwhile, form a chorus of passive complicity and gossip. While some express dissatisfaction, many remain spectators. swaying by caste prejudice and fear, their reaction during the village meeting, and their silence after the child's near death experience show the paralysis of society where dissent is crushed and empathy is eroded. Themes: the youth expose Patel's corruption through a newspaper letter. Tension rises during the night meeting. The story ends with Rangapa's son found stuck in tar, barely alive. So the key themes are caste resistance, corruption, double-edged nature of modernization, and the misuse of power. Thank you.